Over the last few years, the Konica Winternationals has been growing at just an unbelievable rate. Originally established at the old Surfers Paradise International Raceway over 30 years ago, the Winternationals was basically a local event. When Surfers closed 10 years ago, the event was moved to Willowbank Raceway. Now that first event was contested by just 140 drivers and riders and attracted around 5,000 spectators. By the 1994 Winternationals, 317 competitors and 18,000 spectators came through the gates. 2 years later, competitor numbers had grown to 380 and last year topped 400 for the first time, while the crowd had grown to a Konica Winternationals record of almost 34,000. Despite continuing expansion, it was clear that facilities were really at their limit. A major expansion program had to be undertaken, as track manager Dennis Sirimus explains.
Last year we had 403 competitors, and those number of competitors almost gridlocked the place. There was cars going right up to behind the grandstands, and we knew we had to do something pretty well immediately and forsake a lot of the other projects like grandstands and other things that we had on plan, because this one had a higher priority.
What resulted was building a much larger scrutineering area in a previously unused zone adjacent to the track's braking area. New 8-metre long scales were installed to speed up the weighing of long wheelbase dragsters. The pits were extended considerably and an all-new road system constructed to improve traffic flow. While the spectators benefit from seeing a smooth-running show with a new race every 60 to 90 seconds, the main beneficiaries are the racers.
Willowbank Raceway is a fantastic circuit as far as the Pennzoil Top Fuel team is concerned. We've had some of our best times up here. The cars ran super fast, good mile an hour. We've had several wins here, and each time we come here the track has got some new improvements. Asphalt pits, the new scrutineering sheds, grandstand, and the track surface is the best in Australia.
That may explain why ever-increasing number of competitors from all over Australia and overseas are travelling to Willowbank every Queen's Birthday weekend to be part of the Konica Winternationals.
Hi, I'm Max from Sydney, and I just love the drags.
What do you think of drag racing at Willowbank?
Excellent, mate. First time I've been here.
Who's your favourite racer?
Hawke. We're supporting him here.
Travel Air Tours Top Alcohol coming up now, and the number one qualifier, Gary Phillips in the Lucas Oils Dragster. He'll be taking on Mark Brew in the BOC Gases small block Chevy powered Dragster. Qualifying was very, very tight right throughout Travel Air Tours Top Alcohol. And the ladder there shows those pairings. Newbie against Aussie Steve Reed, Glenwright against Hawke, and Hawke up against Paul Shackleton.
Gary Phillips, a pretty tough competitor. In fact, Gary Phillips has had more successes at Winternationals meetings than any other racer in Australia. Taking on Mark Brew, the small block Chevy powered dragster.
Phillips is in trouble, plenty of shake. He seems to have come over it now. Gets there with a 5.98 at 380 kilometres an hour. But have a look on the replay here. I think the top qualifier was in plenty of trouble. Heads for the centre line, skirts with disaster. If he touches that, he's disqualified. Have a look how sideways that car got. But he's through. The number one has gone to the semi-final.
The next pairing now from South Australia, Dave Hawke, taking on Queensland's David Glenwright.
The two Davids go head to head. David Hawke, one of the first men in Australia to seriously get into supercharged dragsters. I think he was the first to run a 6-second pass with a methanol powered car. Great to see him back into top alcohol now, all the way up from Adelaide, up against David Glenwright in the Romac car. This is the car with miles of potential. He's gone. He's in a lot of trouble. Into the wall is Glenwright. Has smacked the wall in the Romac car. Looks like it just got loose and he stayed in the throttle too long. Runs right along the guardrail. That car is going to be fairly second hand. David Hawke ran through for the win, but Glenwright, he's got a mile of trouble.
Yeah, drama here at the Konica Winternationals. Watch this car. Glenwright going up in smoke there, off the line a little bit, and smacks the wall. But look at Hawke. He clips the wall as well.
Hawke got the wall as well. He sideswiped it. Oh, he gets the win. I mean, if you hit the wall, you lose, but it's whoever hits it first. I have never in my, 20 plus years in drag racing seen the wall hit twice in the one go by two different cars. Obviously, the biggest hit there was David Glenwright. Hawke out of trouble fairly early, but Boy, a fair bit of damage, I think, to that Romac car. You could see it bend in the middle there as it jumped the lights, runs along the wall, and just gets another hit at the turn-in point.
Oh, gee, it's all happening here at the Konica Winternationals. Steve Hawke now, the Hawke Transport Dodge Funny Car, taking on, this time, Paul Shackleton in the KB Dragster.
Shackleton has really stepped up with this Mackay-based dragster. And Hawke, we know how potent he is. He qualified well in the top half of the field. The Hawke Transport Spectra Thermo King Dodge Funny Car. Funny Car and Dragster head-to-head. The Dragster with the wheels in the air. They're both moving around. Shackleton, $5.99. There's an upset. Yeah. Hawke out of the racing.
They continue to come as Wayne Newby in the KB Dragster taking on Queenslander Stephen Reed in the Reed Transport Oldsmobile.
Travel Air Tours Top Alcohol providing plenty of excitement so far at the Konica Winternationals. Once again, we've got one of these funny car versus dragster battles. The funny cars have the advantage of running a larger engine, but the dragsters, of course, are more, they're more efficient over a quarter-mile drag strip. So, by virtue of giving the funny cars a larger engine, it evens up the competition. It's anybody's race again. Newby in front. Car starts to misfire and Stephen Reed gets it with a strong 588.
All action here at the Konica Winternationals as we move in now to Superformance Top Door Slammer Round 1.
Victor Bray, the number one qualifier. Can he throw off that big meaning curse? He is, I'd say you could call him the Greg Norman of drag racing. He's the number one rated driver, but hasn't won a major. Bray versus Coop, Searle and King, Elcote against Gratz against Winter. That's a very, very strong field in Superformance Top Door Slammer. David Coop, the South Australian, beat Victor Bray in the first round of the TAC Nationals, so I don't think Bray will take any chances.
Victor, how important is this meeting to you?
It's really important, yeah, for sure. We've been coming to the Winter Nationals and the Nationals where the gold Christmas trees have been handed out, and as yet haven't been handed one. They're real hard to win. I think that's what makes them so prestigious in drag racing. They are hard to get. Sometimes you need a lot of luck on the day. Sometimes you get first timers out here on their first meeting. They'll take one home, and the Gats and Graham Cowan guys of that ilk that have been in drag racing for 25, 30 years, just chase one and get one after 25, 30 years. I hope I don't have to wait for 30 years for mine, but no, we throw everything at these meetings. These are the best meetings. Qualifying's a lot of fun, and the racing's real tough, and that's what we all do it for. It's a competition in drag race. It's fantastic.
So it's Victor Bray taking on Dave Coop, and we've heard it there from Victor. He knows, you know what his feelings are about the Winter Nationals and winning those gold Christmas trees, taking on Coop. Just waiting now, the little Victor to move it in one more stage of the lights.
He's on the line now, the tree comes down. Bray, straight as a die. This looks very quick. 630, 365.6. That's a new national speed record.
Benny Gatt now, the Rare Spares Falcon, taking on from Queensland, Shane Elcote, this great looking 41 Willies.
The Elcotes just love to come down from Gladstone and mix it up with the big boys.
It's really good. We're really pushing the boys hard this weekend. Victor's planning on running a world record. Peter's going to be pushing real hard. So we're just glad that we're here doing it with the boys.
Shane Elcote up against Ben Gatt, the two black cars, and seems to be a popular colour in Top Door Slammer. Elcote's a qualified second. They've won some big ones. They won the Premier State Nationals last year. This is a very, very quick race car.
Taking on Benny Gatt. Gatt's those people that Victor spoke about before, been around 25, 30 years. They've been to plenty of big race meetings. I told last this time, this will be a great race.
Gatt, of course, had that big lose last year at the Konica Winternationals. Put it sideways through the lights. This time sideways is Elcote. Stepped out across the sideline, I think, and Benny Gatt, a 684. The Gats, they move up the ladder. They'll be wrapped with that. Have a look at this on the Wreckers Hotline replay. Elcote in trouble early, onto the sideline. He's disqualified anyway.
So Elcote goes back onto the trailer as we continue on. Andrew Searle, the Acme Fiberglass Custom Line, taking on the custom line, the Castrol custom line of Michael King.
Well, Michael King has really taken to this Cuzzo very, very well. Troy Critchley, of course, used to drive this car. Since then, Michael King has placed his engine and all driveline in the Castrol custom line, and as I say, has been performing very, very well. Andrew Searle, this car has been stepping up. The Acme fiberglass car, getting more and more competitive at every single outing. This, in theory, should be about the closest race of the round. I think they qualified 4th and 5th respectively.
Waiting now on Andrew Searle. Bring the custom line into the lights. Away they go. Searle's going well. Michael King's behind him. There it'll be Searle. Through he goes. 6:53, 328 kilometres an hour.
I just hate it when I put the hex on somebody like that. Les Winter now, the 55 Chevy. He qualified in the lower half of the field, but is one of these guys that can cause an upset. Was runner-up at the 1997 Konica Winternationals to this man, Peter Gratz.
Yeah, we don't see a lot of Les Winter here at Willowbank, but whenever he does, he really does make his mark. Taking on a tough competitor here in Peter Gratz.
As I say, this is a rerun of the final of Superformance Doorslammer from last year's Konica Winternationals, but this time it happens in the very first round. Les Winter almost caused the upset then as well. I remember Peter Gratz got very, very out of shape and was just able to catch Winter on the line. Now that may be going through Peter Gratz's mind right about now in the Valvoline car. He knows there's no such thing as an easy race in Superformance Top Doorslammer. Look at this, Winter putting it to him for half the track at least. Then Gratz, 6:51, 345. Round 2 of competition eliminator brought to us by Crowell Racing Products, and good matchups all the way. Mike Kenny in the Burrell T-Bucket up against Sam Blumenstein from Melbourne. You can't get him from much further away. This is this side of the tree. We can see how Tinney defeated Roberts, Blumenstein against Walker, and there is the other results from the first round.
So Mike Tinney down from Cairns, taking on Sam from Melbourne, but yes, this altered, got quite a chase on its hands this time.
Mike Tinney performed very, very well at last year's Konica Winternationals, but not this time. A red light hands the win to Blumenstein. That car, a big engine in the Oldsmobile, 739, 253 kilometres an hour.
Next pairing now, Greg Lay from down on the Gold Coast Auto Wholesalers T-Bucket. Taking on in the next lane, Dennis Gatt from Sydney in the Chevy-powered T-Bucket.
Competition Eliminator is predominantly contested by open vehicles, dragsters and altereds, etc. But a couple of classes in there for the sedans. Now that's how they got into the second round of Crowell Competition Eliminator. Lay will take on Gatt, Chambers against Rainford, and 4 rounds of racing if you want to become the Konica Winternationals champion in this category.
They both get green lights, so Gatt's out in front. It'll be Greg Lay starting to charge at him about now. They're about equal, but through they go. Greg Lay, 775, 260 kilometres an hour to win.
Still with the handicap racing, it provides some great chases, and quite often would swear that the guy doing the chasing hasn't got a chance, but Greg Lay proved us wrong there. Marcus Chambers now to take on Rod Rainford. Rainford, one of the real contenders for the Competition Eliminator Australian title. Of course, the Konica Winternationals is the final round of the Australian Championship Series for every single category of Andra Championship racing, and these guys definitely after the points.
So the sedan against the T-Bucket. The bucket's out there. It's going pretty well. The sedan running. Watch the bottom end this time as they run on through. And it's Marcus Chambers takes the win at 804, 264 kilometres an hour.
Once again, not much in that one. Now, John Sting in the Dragster, small block Chevy power. He has got a solo run. His opponent hasn't been able to come back for the second round. I think John will be very happy about that. A lot of revs and he wasn't going far. I don't know whether it's a transmission problem or what, but hey, he's into the semi-final and he's got a bit of time to repair.
They continue to come as Steve Flynn, the A1 Automotive car, up against Jeff Chasty.
Chasty from Western Australia. We are now in Crane Cam Super Stock Eliminator, round number 2. Chasty got by Cooper. Flynn was ahead of Butterworth. Lloyd went down to Walker, and it was Simpson that took away Cavallo in the first round on that side of the ladder. Now it's the two Western Australians to fight out for the next round. Jeff Chasty wheel stands off the line. It's Steve Flynn trying to run him down. Last year's winner was Flynn, looking good. Chasty just hangs on by a wheel, and 8.92.
Oh, Western Australia well represented here tonight as Jason Simpson down the Ford Capri taking on Graham Walker in the Commodore.
Let's take a look at the ladder and see what happened on this side of the eliminator. Johns over Corona, Heinz over Bennett, and that's the way they moved into the second round of Crane Cam Superstock Eliminator. Simpson this time with a red light, gets out near the centre line as well, but this will be a cakewalk for Walker. Simpson gets pretty loose at half track, but it's Graham Walker easing through for an 11.48.
Crane Cam's bringing a Superstock here at the Konica Winternationals as Jason Bonney in the Chimera taking on Paul Attard, the Pontiac Trans Am.
Well, Paul Attard up from Melbourne, Jason Bonney, a local South Queensland racer, Superstock Eliminator. These guys are also scoring points in the Performance Wholesale Super Comp Series here at Willowbank Raceway, and once more there's a little pot of gold at the end for the winner of that one. The introduction of so many out-of-towners has really stirred things up. There's not too many Queenslanders left in Superstock Eliminator already. Jason Bonney looks to be hanging on. Here comes Attard. Bonney will get it. 9.32, 231 kilometres an hour. So, well, one Queenslander moves into the next round.
Ian Johns now in the Falcon, getting those tyres nice and hot, and taking on beside him Les Hines in the Camaro.
Les Hines from Victoria and Ian Johns, one of the Sandgropers, all the way across from Western Australia. And it seems to be that the Western Australian Superstock racers just love Willowbank Raceway. They get over here for the Winter Nationals every year and normally pull something out of the bag. Les Hines, this car known for some pretty big wheel stands.
Yeah, we've seen Les here at Willowbank Raceway on a number of occasions. Tough charger taking on this time Ian Johns, and away, oh, big wheel stand, all right, pull that well. Les is going well, Ian starting to charge at him. We'll wait and see. Here they go to the bottom end. It's close. Ian Johns, 7.82, 282 kilometres an hour.
Morgan and Wacker, Comp Bike Eliminator. We're picking up the action in the second round. Fabio Crystal from Brisbane on his A Street Bike up against Colin Linney from Sydney on the 10/10 motorcycle Suzuki. Once again, handicap racing does apply here, and Fabio Crystal, really one of the big hopes in Comp Bike Eliminator. That is a very fast motorcycle for what is classed as a street bike.
So balancing on their toes there, and the lights go to green. Red lighting his way there is Lenny, so it'll be Fabio Crystal who'll take a win this round.
Lenny rides it through anyway for a 9.38 at 247, but he'd already handed the win away on the start line. Daniel Peaty, a young guy down from the Capricorn Coast area, Gladstone I think, and he's been running very, very well on the Suzuki. Looks like he may have a solo. I think it was supposed to be John Parker beside him in the Morgan and Wacker Harley Davidson, but obviously John with some sort of problem, so Daniel Peaty will go on his own. Looks like he's going to check out the situation anyway. An 8.28 rather, 214 kilometres an hour.
So plenty of bike action here tonight at Willowbank Raceway as Alex Cadas riding the Suzuki. And who's he taking on in the next lane? He's getting that tyre nice and sticky first, and oh, certainly is. And in beside him, Mick Sargent, another Western Australian here, riding the Kawasaki.
Well, Mick Sargent won the TAC Nationals in March down at Calder Park Raceway in Victoria. He'd love to make it a double. If he does that, it'll also give him the Australian Championship. But there's plenty of fast bikes to try and get in front of first, and Alex Cadaz is one of them. Red light. I tell you what, these guys are going cherry picking tonight. There's a bit of pressure on out here at Willowbank Raceway for the Konica Winternationals, and Mick Sargent knows he's got it. He'll just run it through.
Yeah, ran it through there with a 9.47. On the next one now, Perry Mackey, the Harley Davidson, and Perry Mackey taking on Ashley Taylor in the Kawasaki.
Two more riders that have travelled good distances to contest Morgan and Wacker Comp Bike Eliminator at the Konica Winternationals. Ashley Taylor on one of the only two-strokes left in Comp Bike Eliminator in Australia, a 750cc triple-cylinder Kawasaki. Perry Mackey, of course, on the Harley-Davidson. Mackey out in front. Look at this, Taylor trying. He won't catch him. Mackey the winner.
Hi there, I'm Bob Wilson from Vancouver, Canada. Just come down for the Winter Nationals. I'm enjoying the racing, the weather, the people. It's a great facility you have here.
I'm Erica Shields, driver of the WINS Junior Top Fuel Dragster, and every year I look forward to coming to the Winter Nationals in sunny Queensland.
Hi, I'm Troy Berry from Townsville. Here to see the race for the first time. It's the best racing around.
The only thing growing faster than competitor entries here at the Konica Winternationals is corporate interest in the event. 2.5 years ago, Willowbank Raceway opened the RPS Corporate Centre with a media suite and 10 corporate boxes. Combined with the suite existing here already in the control tower, it allowed the track to cater for 200 corporate guests, and at the time, that seemed more than adequate. However, following the success of last year's Konica Winternationals, the demand has been so great that that capacity has almost doubled. Construction of the first provincial corporate club right on the start line has allowed far more companies to become involved. These include major international corporations such as Nestle and Shell, along with businesses as diverse as High-Tech Oils, Piranha Insurance Brokers, Wreckers Hotline, and of course First Provincial Building Society, to name just a few. Now, with competition for the sponsorship dollar being incredibly tough, awareness of events like the Konica Winternationals by corporate Australia is invaluable. And the growing involvement by the corporate sector is paying huge dividends throughout all levels of championship drag racing.
Hi, my name's Rebecca Hode. I love coming to the Winter Nationals and I love seeing the pro stock.
Yeah, who's your favourite racer?
Kim Petterwood, of course.
Kim Petterwood. And how often do you come to Willowbank?
Just about every meet that's on.
Time now for John William Auto Sales Pro Stock Eliminator Round 1. Robbie Tucker in the Performance Wholesale Oldsmobile to take on Rob Quattrocchi in the Valvoline Beretta, and the Australian Championship is well and truly on the line.
So let's have a look at the pairings. Ridgeway against Petterwood, Tucker and Quattrocchi, Cognetto and Andropoulos, and Polito and Haystead.
We've got to remember there's 8 guys in the first round, but there are 9 Pro Stock drivers already sitting in the grandstands that didn't even get to qualify. That's how tough it was here at the Konica Winternationals. Oh, Robbie Tucker, he wants to win this one. If he wins this, he just about puts that stranglehold on the Australian Championship. At the moment, he still has Joe Polito breathing down his neck. Rob Quattrocchi's not going to be any easy mark. These guys take a lot of care in pre-stage. They revs up, they're racing.
Yeah, going well. It's Quattrocchi there. It looks as though the car of Tucker's is in a bit of trouble. Quattrocchi, through he goes, 797, 277 kilometres an hour.
Well, Rob Tucker's championship hopes now lie in other people's hands. He's got to sit on the sidelines, wait and see. Peter Ridgway now to take on Kim Petterwood. Petterwood in the Lifestyle Pontiac. He's the number 8 qualifier. Ridgway the number 1 qualifier in the VPW Oldsmobile. It's actually Bruno Cagnetto's old car. He lent it to Ridgway until Peter's new Cutlass, which he crashed last year, is repaired. And Ridgway's putting it to good use.
Well, Peter, I know I speak for many people to say you're welcome back to drag racing. We've really missed you. I am curious, though, to find out from you how you think the field has changed in the short time that you've been away.
I think everyone's picked up the performance substantially, and it's a lot tougher than it was before. It also is a lot closer, and there's more cars out there, so it's pretty tough, but it's good competition.
Number 1 qualifier, Peter Ridgway. Keep an eye on Petterwood. He's been known to be the master of the start line. Ridgway's in. Petterwood hung him out a long time, about 8 or 9 seconds, but now they're racing, and I think Petterwood was in front at half track.
Can he hang on? No, Ridgway, 775, 280 kilometres an hour for the win.
Have a look at this on the Wreckers Hotline replay. How close is Pro Stock? Number 1 versus number 8, and there's only a wheel in it.
The next pairing now was Bruno Cognetto, the VPW Oldsmobile, taking on John Andropoulos, this great-looking Chevy Lumina.
Andropoulos, a relative rookie to pro stock, ran his first meeting at the TAC Nationals. That was the last round of the championship. He was runner-up there. Now he comes up against Bruno Cogneto in the VPW car. Has Randy Daniels over from the States, the former owner of this vehicle, in his pit area this weekend, trying to help him through to the win. Come out fairly strong, and I think Cogneto might have this one.
Yeah, Cogneto's got the legs here, winding us up as he through he goes. 779, 278.2 kilometres an hour.
Two of the VPW cars through to the semi-final. Now I think it's the race that Robbie Tucker will be waiting for. The two Fords, Craig Hasted in the Craig R Performance Usher Constructions Ford Thunderbird, up against Joe Polito in the Dynamax Ford Probe. If Polito takes a step up the ladder, he will start to narrow that championship gap to Robbie Tucker. Craig Hasted, this guy has been electric. He won the last Pro Stock meeting here at Willowbank Raceway. The car has really stepped up.
Yeah, he's the mover in the ranks of Pro Stock throughout Australia, that's for sure. Craig Hasted red lighting his way this time and handing the win to Joe Polito.
Hasted is red lighted by 0.003 of a second, got across the finish line first, but it doesn't matter. Polito gets the win, a strong 779. Have a look at this. You see the car move just fractionally early, and that's cost Craig Hasted heavily, but the Dynamax crew, hey, they're already starting to celebrate.
So as we move in now to Serco Pro Bike, round one about to happen, and all of our corporate guests here tonight having a great time. Les Donnan now on the Castrol Suzuki. He's our number one qualifier.
Yeah, Les Donnan up from Adelaide, won the Konica Winternationals last year, would like to repeat, already got the points in the bag to win another Australian Championship. He is the 97-98 title holder. Going to run it on down the racetrack on his own. He was the top qualifier. Still comes up with a 774, 270 kilometres an hour.
Angelo Ganitas and Angelo on the Focus International Suzuki, taking on Paul Andrews, also on a Suzuki.
Both guys up from Victoria for Serco Pro Stock Motorcycle, and unfortunately no Serco bike here this weekend in Pro Bike. Gavin Eels, his new Suzuki, not quite ready. I know he's planning a trip overseas to race in the US. Ganitas is going to get this one on a platter. Andrews with a problem, never left the start line. Ganitas 790, 264 kilometres an hour.
So problems there as the bike's pushed away. Serco bringing us Pro Bike here at the Konica Winternationals. Dennis Ackland on the ICI Auto Colour Suzuki, taking on this time George Vella, also on the Suzuki.
Vella, a relative newcomer to Serco Pro Stock Motorcycle, whereas Dennis Ackland, I think, has been there since the class was instituted. He's the number 2 qualifier on the ICI Auto Colour bike, and one of the real nice guys of the category, that's for sure. Looked to have a little hesitation off the line there, but he's going to run it through.
Yeah, rides it through, and 786, 269 kilometres an hour for the win. Next pairing then to wrap up this first round, and Jason Lee, he's number 3 qualifier, riding his 1327cc Suzuki up against Peter Cochran on the Kawasaki.
Peter Cochran, a local Brisbane racer, one of the few Kawasaki's in the field. Have a look at this bike of Jason, that Jason Lee rides, and it looks like an animal. Peter Cochran up against it a little bit, I think. Jason Lee's been in pretty good form right throughout the season. Serco Pro Stock Motorcycle at the Konica Winternationals. We're in round one. We've seen, I think, 3 solos so far. Let's see, or virtual solos. Let's see if we can see a race this time. Cochran's trying to put a bit of pressure on Lee, but I don't think he can match the power of the Suzuki.
No, the Suzuki takes the win. Jason Lee, 775, 268 kilometres an hour.
Well, plenty of action behind the stands at the Konica Winternationals, but now we're onto the track for round 2, the semi-final of High-Tech Oil's Top Fuel Eliminator. Glenn Micris to take on Darren DeFilippo.
Gee whiz, this will be a race this time, Rob. Darren DeFilippo, of course, the number 1 qualifier. We saw him only once in qualifying, and so confident he was. taking on from the United States, Glenn Micros.
Charlie DeFilippo did tell us this is the run that they're going to mount the big serious attempt on the 300, but they're having to push the car back. That's not a good sign. Normally means that the clutch is a little too tight and he hasn't been able to get the reverser happening. Glenn Micros going through his normal pre-stage procedure.
Glenn, it was the on and off light show between you and Jim Reed in round one. You came out the victor, but what have you done to sort things out for this round?
We did a few changes at the clutch department, so maybe we get the thing to quit shaking. If we get slided down through there, we'll have to this time. Charlie's stuff ran pretty good all weekend, so we'll take a shot, see what happens.
I think Charlie DeFilippo and Darren DeFilippo still in trouble over there. The car tries to move backwards now. They can't get the transmission into forward, would you believe? We see the starter coming across. There's the signal. He points Glenn Micros to the start line. Ray Ward gives him the single finger, says you're on your own. DeFilippos are out of there. They'll be disappointed. And what about Micros? The car has a problem before the 150-foot mark. Even when they're not fast, there's plenty happening in High-Tech Oil's Top Fuel. Obviously, some sort of trouble there for Micros in the Rapisada car, but hey, he's headed for the final.
Yeah, great disappointment there for the DeFilippo crew, but Robin Kirby, the Pennzoil Dragster, he's coming forward now to take on Terry Sainty. What do we say about Robin Kirby? Rob, we've seen him so many times here at Willowbank Raceway, always goes well, but a tough charger. Terry Sainty is really coming on as well. This Eagles leads Dragster, stepping up the performance all year, and I think we've got a drag race on our hands this time.
Sainty will be the underdog, and Robin Kirby will be experiencing the new fact of starting as the favourite.
Robin, you had a bye in the first round, but from here on in you're going to have to work for every win.
Yes, pretty easy run on that first go. Car around 518 or 517 or something, and replaced one cylinder head, had a burnt exhaust valve, so apart from that everything was pretty good.
Robin Kirby, in fact, has just arrived back from the United States. Spent some time over there with Pennzoil's Eddie Hill over there, just catching up with the latest step fuel technology over there, Rob. So he seems to be putting it to good use this weekend.
The car has been very consistent, that's for sure. Terry Sainty, he had that wild ride in the first round, a hell of a drive job. He's already starting to pedal it sideways again, picks the wheels up again, but Robin Kirby long gone, a 561 at 336. Hey, this should be interesting on replay.
Almost like a pogo stick off the start line there, the way he bobs up in the air there and down and around, and having trouble coming to grips with the track, that's for sure, but Robin Kirby a winner.
Robin Kirby, a bit of an untidy pass for the Pennzoil fueler, but into the final of High-Tech Oil's Top Fuel.
Yeah, well, the car was skating around a fair bit. I don't know whether it was smoking the tyres or what was happening, but we blistered the tyres we had on the previous run, and we put an old pair of tyres on, so luckily we've got down the other end first.
I'm not completely certain, but I think he may have lane choice against Glenn. How do you think you'll go against the two times national Top Fuel champion?
Well, you never know. They think I'm blessed, Reverend Kirby, so hopefully we can do it one more time. We want that gold Oscar. Thank you.
Semi-final time now for Superformance Top Doorslammer. Bray to take on Searle. Gat against Gratz, and things are starting to get serious at the Konica Winternationals.
So it's Andrew Searle, the Acme fiberglass custom line. I guess you could say, Rob, at one stage almost the apprentice to this guy, to Victor Bray, the 57 Chevy. We heard it before. Getting down to that business end of the race meeting, Victor is looking for a gold Christmas tree this year.
Yeah, you're right, Paul. At many meetings, I think Andrew Searle spent as much time in Victor Bray's pit area as his own. Victor's given him a lot of advice over the last couple of years, and I know supplied him a lot in the way of equipment as well. And hey, maybe about 2 or 3 minutes ago, the free advice just stopped because Andrew Searle up against Victor Bray. I've never seen Bray so motivated. He wants this one very badly in the Castrol 57 Chevy. He's already reset the national record. Can he move into the final of the Konica Winternationals?
What a race. Victor Bray, Andrew Searle. Searle's out in front. Victor Bray charging. Searle gets the win. 6:48, 3:31 kilometres an hour.
I can't believe it. Have a look on the Wreckers Hotline replay. Victor Bray headed for the sideline, backpedal, got his boot back into it, started to chase down Andrew Searle, but Searle's run his quickest ever, personal best, and he takes the win.
Superformance top Doorslammer. What some surprises here. Andrew Searle into the final. Victor got crossed up. You'll like this. 6:48, 2:08.
This will make me breath. Well, I'd like to say I'm just fantastic. It's taken me like 10 years, you know. Victor Bray's always been a good mate. He sold me some good parts, and to say that I'd ever beat him, it was just a dream come true. I mean, that's all I've ever waited for, is not to beat Victor, but if he ever made a mistake, I'd be there, and I just feel sorry for him, and it's my night. And I'd like to thank Acme Fiberglass and Supplies and all my crew. Thank you very much, and we'll see what we can do in the finals.
Oh, big night there for Andrew Searle and his crew. Acme Fiberglass there. They're winners as we continue on now. Benny Gatt, the Rare Spares Falcon out of Sydney, to take on the Valvoline Chevy of Peter Gratz.
Well, Peter Gratz has been the big meeting specialist. He hasn't won a championship, and I'm not sure that he's been in the top 2 or 3 too often either, but he just seems to win these big ones, the Nationals, the Premier State Nationals. He's the defending Winter Nationals champion, so really got a lot of points on the board. We heard Andrew Searle there say that I've just been waiting for Victor to make a mistake. It wasn't a very big one. It was just a momentary off the throttle to keep the car away from the sideline, and, well, Searle has gone through to the final. Will he face Peter Gratz in the Valvoline car, or can we see Benny Gatt go to another Winter Nationals final? Not this time, I don't think.
No, Peter Gratz well out in front there. Benny Gatt in strife, and Peter Gratz through for a 6:73, 3:48 kilometres win.
You'd say possibly even say some sort of transmission problem or something with Gatt's Falcon there. It just almost stopped and then picked up some momentum again.
It's your 57 Chevy against Andrew Searle's custom line. He's got lane choice though. You're in 6:73.
That's a big surprise. I really expected to see Victor win, and I'm really pleased for Andrew. And I'm really pleased for my sponsors, Valvoline Autobahn, that we're into the final. So we'll be doing our best for our sponsors, Valvoline and Autobahn.
It's a well-known fact that the Konica Winternationals brings in racers from right across Australia. What is not as well known, however, is the amount of international interest that this race meeting attracts. Heading up an impressive list of overseas talent was repeat visitor, world-renowned chassis builder Bob Meyer. He attends at least one major meeting a year down under to check on his Australian stable of cars. Following the early and rather messy retirement of the Romac Dragster, he could be overheard discussing plans to return and rebuild with owner Bob Brackham. Making his second trip to Australia to discuss the possibility of returning with his alcohol dragster was Canadian Bob Wilson. He and Ken Lowe struck up a friendship that may see the Canadian racing down under in the near future. Randy Daniels, American pro stock truck racer, was here making sure the transition of his Oldsmobile to Bruno Cognetto ran smoothly, and he had some helpful advice for the new crew. Long-standing American top alcohol competitor Doc Conroy used his wealth of experience to assist relative newcomer to the field, Wayne Newby. Finally, participating in the opening ceremonies, President of the International Races for Christ organisation, Ken Owen, paid his first visit to Willowbank. It certainly looks as though the interest from the international community in our sport down here is a trend that will continue to grow.
The Konica Winternationals, of course, now the largest drag racing event outside of the United States of America as we move into the semi-final of Piranha Insurance's Top Bike Eliminator. Murray Johnson on the Excessive Force Harley to take on the Excessive Force Harley of Mark Getty. The two teammates go head-to-head.
Yeah, these teams really attracting a lot of interest down in the pit area. Both of these Harley Davidsons making the final here tonight.
The Excessive Force team really a professional outfit, the transporter right through to the bike preparation, presentation, and this is the quickest Harley Davidson in the country. Mark Getty has been solidly into the 6 second zone before. Not here at the Konica Winternationals so far this weekend, but hey, the weekend's not over yet.
Running here, the Piranha Insurance is bringing us the bike action tonight. Mark Getty takes the win, 7:36, 2:67.
Mark, getting into the final of Piranha Insurance Brokers Top Fuel Motorcycle, the Excessive Force Harley Davidson making it again to the final.
Yes, we had a bit of a rough weekend, so hopefully we can finish it off with something better later on.
So the next pairing to come forward now will be Jeff Smith, Jeff Cycle Salvage Harley, taking on the Pennzoil Kawasaki of Bill Curry.
Well, are we going to have two Harley Davidsons in the final again at the Konica Winternationals, or is Bill Curry going to go to what I think will be his first final on this particular Pennzoil Party Time bike? It's an awesome machine, there's no doubt about that. It's taken Bill a fair bit of time to really get on top of the combination. It's now starting to show the potential. Smith out in front. Here comes the Pennzoil bike, and good speed, 721, 288 kilometres an hour. He goes to the final.
Yeah, Bill Curry making a welcome return to riding his own bikes after a period where he remained the owner-manager of the team, but riding it well there for a win.
Bill Curry into the final of Piranha Insurance Brokers Top Fuel Motorcycle, the Pennzoil bike. Some trials and tribulations, but you're there.
We're there and we're battling, but we're getting there.
How do you think you'll go against that Excessive Force bike?
I don't know what he ran last round. Do you know what he ran last round? I know Jeff was going to be the tough one. We just got past Jeff, so we're gonna have a good shot at.
So the semi-finals continue here at Willowbank Raceway. We're in now to Travel Air Tours Top Alcohol, and they're about to come forward. This will be Gary Phillips, Lucas Oil's Dragster, taking on Stephen Reed, the Reed family funny car.
These two guys have gone head-to-head so many times in supercharged cars that I don't think anybody would have kept count. Stephen Reed, of course, driving the Reed Transport funny car. Gary Phillips for Lucas Oils and Travel Air Tours and Parker Transport. He's Aussie Bananas, a whole range of sponsors that a national champion can attract. And he's got another title in the bag. He's won 5 from 7. But Stephen Reed has been running 244 miles an hour in the funny car, so he's got the speed. Phillips will get out in front. It's a matter then of whether Reed can chase him down towards the finish line. Neither driver wants to go in and stage. The revs right up. Watch for that second white light. In goes Reed. Phillips bumps in now. They're off. They've got a race on their hands.
Yeah, the Dragster against the funny car. This is going well. Gary Phillips for Lucas Oils, 598, 380 kilometres an hour.
Have a look at that. The Lucas team are pretty happy. Reed's car just, let him down a little bit this time.
When it comes to top alcohol racing, Gary Phillips and Stephen Reed can certainly put on a show for Travel Air Tours Top Alcohol. Gary Phillips, 589, 237 into the final.
Yeah, really good. We were a little bit lost coming into that round. We shook like crazy, and we were lucky to get past the first round, but Lucas Oils pulled us through again.
Well, Gary Phillips is getting interviewed in the braking area. Debbie Phillips with a microphone in front of her on the start line. Now it's the Dragsters, the two white cars, the north and south battle, if you like. We've got Paul Shackleton down from Mackay in the far lane. David Hawke up from Adelaide in the near lane. Hawke, making his presence really felt this weekend. He's joined the 240 club. He's run over 240 mile an hour. Paul Shackleton really enjoying this Konica Winternationals this year. Travel Air Tours Top Alcohol has been fairly action-packed right from the very start of qualifying. We've seen Harold Campbell nudging the fence, and then of course we saw David Glenwright in the Romac car pretty heavily into the fence. Now, here we're going into the semi-final. Dave Hawke just backs out momentarily. Shackleton, Hawke, this really should be a good semi. They're looking for a spot in that final.
Travel Air Tours Top Alcohol semi-final, and away they go, the two Dragsters, and this car is getting out of shape of Hawke's.
Hawke's gone over, got loose, rolled, gets the fence, and now backwards into the braking area on the roll cage. Plenty of flame there. I'd say the injection hat on the supercharger. The car goes through 3 barrel rolls. The car ended up looking pretty straight after all of that, but unbelievable in Travel Air Tours Top Alcohol. You have a look at this. Everybody knows it was a big one, I think. The crews are heading from everywhere. Dave Hawke in a very strong car, but that crash was, well, the most dramatic we've seen this weekend.
Oh, absolutely, Rob. Just really shaking here at the moment, but watch this car.
He was out in front. He was looking strong, but I think kept in it a little bit too long. The car was loose. He was out of the groove, and in the end, it has just thrown him over. It pirouettes. The engine's still screaming. Look at the smoke off those tyres. Backs it into the wall there, and then slides on the roll cage and supercharger. He's covered in flame.
You mentioned before about the strength, Rob. That's the word, isn't it? The just demonstrating there, the car staying intact. The car going over and over down there in the braking area.
That is a heavy impact. Dave Hawke from Adelaide, but as I say, you look at the car there and you'd say that you replace the wheels and line it up for the next round. Have another look on a different angle on the Wreckers Hotline replay. You see Hawke out in front. He's got some tyre shake happening there. Then out of the groove, over near the centre line, overdrives it. I think he's just tried to stay with it too long. He didn't want to lose this race, and it really does go through some violent tumbles over there against the wall.
Really says a lot for the competitiveness here at the Konica Winternationals, how hard people are trying. And David Hawke there out in front in that race, but just losing control as we can see it tumbling down the racetrack.
The Queensland Fire and Rescue crew were on the scene very, very quickly, cutting the cage off there, actually cutting the roll cage off with the jaws of life to facilitate getting David out of the car. They do carry all of the rescue equipment, that's for sure. They're very well equipped, and well, the word we had was that David was knocked out momentarily in the crash, but we see him there looking A-OK. He will be taken to hospital as a precautionary measure.
Paul Shackleton into the final of Travel Tours Top Alcohol. Not the way you want to go in there, mate.
No, it really wasn't. He was ahead of me when all that happened, and I seen it out of the corner of my eye, and I really didn't know what to think. I seen him heading right, and I thought, oops, this doesn't look good, you know. And I think I got off the throttle, and then I nailed it again to try and get out of the way. And like I had a bit of trouble with my car with the clutch and the line, and smoked the clutch, and the thing wouldn't get out of its own way. So I thought, you know, just want to get out of there and didn't get tangled up in it. You know.
Well, good luck in the final, Paul.
Yeah, not the way I wanted to do it. Thanks very much.
David Hawke on his way to hospital, but has escaped any serious injury. We'll take a break and be back in a minute.
Konica puts the future of copying in your hands. By combining advanced computer technology, unique twin beam laser printing, and hard-wearing components, Konica delivers copiers that are tough enough to handle any job. Look for the copier that satisfies your needs in the Konica range.
Konica, the copiers that are tough enough.
Ready for a Sunday drive? Strap in and come drag racing. Speeds approaching 500 kilometers an hour. Ritual smoke signals. Fire and flame. Queensland's most popular form of motor racing. The fastest accelerating sport on earth. Sometimes dangerous, always spectacular. Drag Racing 98, Sunday afternoon on 7.
So now we move into the second round of Wreckers Hotline Top Comp Eliminator. Russell Schaefer back with a Caloundra Wreckers car. This time he'll be taking on Scott Leo in the Competition Performance Commodore. The dragsters and sedans, funny cars, altereds, it's all levelled up on this handicap system. We can delay one car to the other by right down to 100th of a second, or increments of 100th of a second, and it really does provide for some close finishes. Normally, Scott Leo leaving too soon. He's got a red light on the tree. He's been disqualified. So Russell Schaefer gets another win in the Caloundra Wreckers dragster.
So Russell Schaefer on his winning way is the next pairing to come forward. We have Debbie Reed, the Reed Transport dragster.
She'll be up against Daryl Woods in the Bear, the EA Falcon. And Debbie Reed, as I say, has been running some solid 6-second times, near 200 miles an hour. Daryl Woods will get a fair sort of handicap start in this race. Then Debbie will be chasing her down. And the Wreckers Hotline Top Comp has really provided a great feature to the Nestle Night of Thunder here at the Konica Winternationals. Debbie Reed going nowhere. I would suggest probably some sort of transmission problem. Daryl Woods gets through to the semi-final in 8:25, 2:34.
Morris Fabietti now, the Pontiac Trans Am. So the Pontiac from Victoria, I think, Rob.
Really is a beautiful car, Morris Fabietti's Pontiac, and yeah, he's originally from Victoria, now living in Sydney, I think, working for Rocket Industries down there. Tom Coonan in the Holtz Crane Hire Ford, of course, local Willowbank racer, resides up at Toowoomba on the Darling Downs, and one of the real contenders in the Wreckers Hotline Top Comp Eliminator Series, which we run at this racetrack right across the year. Wreckers Hotline Top Comp isn't an ANDRA Championship category. It's classified as an exhibition bracket here at the Konica Winternationals. That's why we run it on the Saturday night, the Nestle Night of Thunder. Coonan gets the win, 773, 276.
As John Moll now in the Holden Commodore. Big burnout there, taking on the Ford Capri. And of course, this is the Ford Capri of Matt Abel in the Abel Tiling Capri all the way down from Darwin.
John Moll really has been starting to get on top of this big block Chevy powered Commodore of late. He's enjoying the conditions here at the Konica Winternationals. The track has got an immense amount of traction. The problem for a lot of the Group 1 cars in particular is that they're having troubles getting a tune-up to handle the amount of grip this track has. Matt Abel normally races at Hidden Valley Raceway in Darwin. He leaves too soon. It really is cherry time here at the Winternationals. He's red-lighted. John Moll with the win.
Yeah, John Moll there, a 789, 247 kilometres an hour. As back into some bike action now, the Morgan & Wacker competition bike. And on the track at the moment is Fabio Crystal.
Fabio loves his burnouts on that street bike. Daniel Peaty, the young guy on the Suzuki. This is semi-final time for Morgan & Wacker Comp Bike Eliminator. These guys are trying to get into the final here at the Konica Winternationals. Comp Bike has been a very competitive bracket.
So it's the two Suzukis to race off against each other, and Daniel Peaty from Central Queensland taking on Fabio Crystal. Oh, it's Peaty, goes through, yes, takes the win, 818.
Morgan & Wacker competition bike is just as tough as the other Group 2 Gratz. Daniel Peaty into the final.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank David Hawke for the cylinder heads, Joe Marshall for the 3-speed, the old man for prepping the bike for me and let me have such a good bike to ride, I suppose. Willowbank putting on such a good setup here for the Winternationals, and all other competitors. Been a good 3 days so far, so it can only get better, eh?
So a winner there taking on the winner of the next pairing, and this is Mick Sargent all the way from Western Australia on his Kawasaki.
Got a fair bit of support from the crowd there, I think. Perry Mackey on the Harley Davidson, and we're in Morgan & Wacker Comp Bike. Of course, Morgan & Wacker, the Queensland distributors of Harley Davidson. So it's not hard to guess which bike they'd like to see win here. The South Australian up against the Western Australian. Mackey trying to hold out Mick Sargent. I don't think he can do it.
Hardly. Mick Sargent goes through, 873.
Mick Sargent, geez, these WA boys come over and love running at Willowbank Raceway. Morgan & Wacker Comp Bike, you're into the final.
Oh, it's great. We love this track. This is beautiful. This is outstanding. Best track we've ever had. We've got a bit of a small tyre and we've got too much horsepower, you know, and we have a lot of trouble getting the thing to stick. But give us a track like this and the thing goes like a rocket.
Winning at the Nationals, can you make it the big two?
We're going to give it a really good shot, mate. We're halfway there. We've got the number 1 plate now. We've got 1 Christmas tree and the plan was to come over here and take 2 of them home.
If you go for a cruise down pit lane, long before you find your favourite racer, you're probably going to spot his trailer. When you're over 1,000 kilometres away from home and working up to 20 hours a day at a 4-day meeting, these 40-foot containers rapidly become the nerve centre of every race team. Not only are they transporters, they also double as mobile workshops, storerooms, offices and even living quarters for the teams that they house. Now, as close as you can get to a race team in the pit area, the trailer is usually off limits to all but crew members and fellow racers. So we thought we'd take you on a guided tour through some of these fabulous trailers. Most trailers feature large workshop areas that also double as storerooms for a myriad of spares that must be on hand at any meeting. Each trailer has specific features designed to best accommodate that team's vehicle and needs. Hydraulic lifts, engine hoists, parts cleaning bays, workbenches and optimal storage space are features of many trailers. And after working 20 hours on a race engine, sometimes you only have enough energy to make it as far as the crew quarters for some well-earned sleep. If we leave the crew to the hard yakka out here for a minute, we might just pop inside one of these offices and check out exactly where the crew chiefs and owners get to between rounds. Most professional racing teams rely heavily on computer data, and office areas are incorporated into many trailers where crew chiefs can work uninterrupted. It's here they analyse data from the previous round of racing and formulate strategies to ensure they continue into the next.
In reality, the computer has been a godsend. You can go and do a run. It's not a computer as people think it is. It doesn't actually tune the car on the run. All it is a telltale computer. It's a data recorder. So at the end of the run, you can come back, you can see what the car's done, you can see what the fuel pressures and all that sort of stuff were on the run, and you can make your necessary changes for the next run off the computer.
As you can see, there's a whole lot more to these trailers than first meets the eye. And for those lucky few who can actually find the time to relax on race day, well, that can be taken care of too. Cheers.
Maybe Tanya's got the best seat in the house at the moment. But we're moving now into the semi-final of John William Auto Sales Pro Stock Eliminator and the most competitive category of the Konica Winternationals. You wouldn't want to try and pick a winner in any of them.
So it's Joe Polito in the Dynamax Ford Probe taking on Bruno Cognetto from Victoria in the VPW Oldsmobile.
Cognetto, this car has run 7.6 seconds in the United States. Polito, of course, has been the form driver of the last couple of years in the Dynamax Ford Probe. He knows the equation. If he loses here, he loses his Australian Championship. If he wins, well, he's one step closer, but basically he needs to go all the way in the final. Keep an eye on this one. Cognetto has been very strong in the VPW car. Polito will be throwing everything at it.
Yes, waiting for the Oldsmobile to stage. The lights go to green and
Cognetto going nowhere. I'd say that car wasn't in low gear. It has smoked the clutch out of it. Polito a 774, 277 Ks. The Dynamax boys, they keep jumping that fence. Have a look on the replay. That is clutch smoke out of the VPW car. I don't think it was in first gear.
Joe Polito into the final of Pro Stock Eliminator, brought to us, of course, by John Williams Auto Sales. 775, 173. You're fighting all the way to the finish.
Hey, we had a hard fight to come to this racetrack. I've got a great crew. They work their guts out. I've got to do the job for them. I've got a great sponsor. We'll be back in the final.
I reckon you can see the pressure on Joe Polito's face. He really wants that second Australian Championship. As I think it's a third, I'm not sure. It's really starting to rack up there. Peter Ridgway, the VPW Oldsmobile, up against Rob Quattrocchi. What is it with these Italians? I think Ridgway's the only non-Italian in the semi-final.
Certainly no Queenslanders have got into the semi-finals this time round, but John William Auto Sales bringing us Pro Stock Eliminator here at the Konica Winternationals. Who's going to be in the final up against Joe Polito? We'll soon see in a few seconds' time. Rob Quattrocchi,
Well, Ridgway's hanging him out a little bit. Look at the delay. Watch for that second white light on the far side. Now they're in the start lines. Ridgway with the little advantage. Not much in this. Quattrocchi's putting it to him. Well, the board says Ridgway, 772, 280, the quickest run of the weekend. Have a look on the replay. It's a 772 to a 774, the quickest side-by-side pass in Pro Stock history. Very little in it. Coming to the finish line, I couldn't pick it the first time round. 4 thousandths of a second, Ridgway gets it.
Peter Ridgway doesn't make the trip up that often to Willowbank. You're at the Winternationals, John Williams Auto Sales Pro Stock, 772 going into the final against Joe Polito.
Well, it's been a long time since I've been in a final. We had a big crash last year, and it's going to be great to be there, and it's going to be a tough race against Joe, and we'll see what happens.
Peter Ridgway's, I think, enjoying his visit to the Konica Winternationals, as now we go to the semi-final of Serco Pro Stock Motorcycle.
Yeah, so Les Donnan on the Castrol Suzuki, taking on Angelo Ganitas.
The South Australian versus the Victorian, both of them on Suzukis. There's the Castrol team owner, Trevor Birrell, leaning over, turning on the computer data recorder on that Castrol bike. Donnan gets out and looks to be going to control this one. Ganitas is already sitting up. Donnan, 774, 270 kilometres an hour.
768 at 170, the Castrol bike coming around for the final.
Yeah, we've been working on the tune-up all weekend, and the Castrol team have done a good job and hopefully come up with the right combo.
Wow, so he's into the final to take on the winner of the next race. Coming out now, this is Dennis Ackland, the ICI Auto Colour Suzuki, taking on Jason Lee on his Suzuki.
That biker Jason Lee sounds awful, sounds like about 3 cylinders, and he shut it off. He sat up and discussed. He's got a real problem, so Dennis Ackland is going to get to go on his own. He'll take a bye run, but knowing Dennis, he is going to, really rev this ICI Auto Colour bike. He wouldn't mind lane choice for the final, I know that. Number 2 qualifier he was.
Dennis Ackland, Serco Pro bike, you're into the final against Les Donnan. I think Les has got lane choice with a quicker ET. Tough ask against that Castrol Suzuki.
Oh yeah, I say it again, we've beaten him before, and just hope our ICI Auto Colour bike gets through again.
So it's Crowler competition semi-final time here at the Konica Winternationals. And first up tonight will be Greg Lay in the Gold Coast Auto Wholesalers T-Bucket, taking on the Holden.
Yeah, Marcus Chambers across with the HQ Holden, running in the Alta production classes and doing very, very well. Greg Lay, of course, the number 1 qualifier in Crowler competition eliminator. If he can go on and take the win as well, he's in the running for the HeadSense Cylinder Heads Top Qualifier Award. The way that works, you top qualifier, you get some extra money. If you also win, it more than doubles up again. If it doesn't, if that doesn't win, a jackpot. So the HeadSense Cylinder Heads Top Qualifier Awards, putting some extra interest into competition and Superstock eliminators. Here he comes, Greg Lay. I think he might be on the way. 770, 251 kilometres an hour.
Greg Lay, Crowler competition, the B Altered is absolutely hauling today into the final.
Yeah, I can't be happier. I just don't know what to say. I just can't thank my crew or my family enough to get into the final at the Winter Nationals. We only started this engine in this car on Thursday, so I don't know what I ran then, but it must have been a good number.
So Greg's into the final to take on the winner of the next race, and it's John Sting in the Dragster taking on Sam Blumenstein in the Oldsmobile.
The Oldsmobile Cutlass, essentially a Pro Stock style vehicle, but running a 500 cubic inch engine or thereabouts. A big engine, a lot of horsepower, runs around the 730s. He's going to be giving away a bit of a handicap start to John Sting and the Dragster. That's just a small block Chevy back there. John Sting from the Downs area. And away they go. Have a look at this, Blumenstein and Sting. This will be pretty close.
Yes, Sting charging through. He goes through easily, 713.
John Sting, Crowler competition, the A Dragster are going through to the final. How do you think you go against that B Altered of Greg Lay?
It's going to be a little bit tough, I think. He's a long way under.
Semi-final time now in Crane Cam Super Stock Eliminator. Jeff Chasty in the Genie Commodore. He's chasing an Australian title in Super Stock. He's leading the points at the moment, up against Graham Walker in another Commodore. Walker running C-Gas. He's allowed a lot more engine modifications than Chasty in the G-Gasser. It's still a handicap race. This is going to be close. Walker, I don't think so. Yes, right on the death. 860, 252.
Crane Cam's Superstock, Graham Walker, that C-Gas Commodore, trying to chase that G-Gas of Jeff Chasty. You did it.
And you just he's a very tough car.
Yeah, tough car, all right, taking on the winner of this pairing, Ian Johns in the Falcon.
John's running up against Jason Bonney in another one of these G-Gas class cars, the Chimera from right here in Brisbane. And there he is at work in the office of the Chimera. Ian Johns, a 500 cubic inch Oldsmobile under the bonnet of the Falcon, gives away a big handicap start before he leaves with the wheels in the air, and it looks like the chase is going to be good.
Racing hard there, through he goes. Ian Johns, 772.
The tradition of WA races here at the Winter Nationals, winning in Superstock, 772. How do you think he'll go against that sea gas of Graham Walker?
Oh, I didn't know who I was going to race. I thought it'd be a West Australian final actually. So, well, we'll give it our best shot. We've come a long way. We'll come over to win, hopefully.
Yes, so semi-final time now. Wreckers Hotline Top Comp Eliminator. Two local competitors, Tom Coonan and John Mole.
Coonan in the Holtz Crane Hire CF Performance Ford LTD for the Ford fans. John Mole, of course, in the Commodore for the Holden fans. A bit of a hybrid though for Coonan. He's got a Chevy engine in that Ford. Small block Chev, just 355 cubic inches. John Mole, of course, nearly 500 cubes, I think. But Mole out in front. Looks like Coonan might have his measure.
Yeah, charging up to him in charges. Past him, 777, 274.
Tommy Coonan into the top comp final for Wreckers Hotline, 777 for the LTD.
A little bit off what we've been running tonight, but the CF Performance Holtz Crane Hire car today has been great. We've got one round to go.
And next up, Darryl Woods in the Falcon up against Russell Schaefer in the Clounder Wreckers Dragster. Once more, we've got this sedan versus open car style battle in Wreckers Hotline Top Comp Eliminator. Really has been a very successful category of racing for Willowbank Raceway right throughout the year. They're all chasing points in that Wreckers Hotline Championship Series. Darryl Woods looking good. He's in front, pulls the chute, and Schaefer drives round him, 748.
Russell Schaefer, Wreckers Hotline Top Comp semi-final winner. They don't come much closer than that. 49 thousandths of a second, the margin of victory at the end.
Jeez, I didn't think it was that close. We were skating a bit there, but it must have been close to the other end.
It's the people who come first.
By combining advanced computer technology with unique twin beam laser printing, Konica delivers copiers that are tough enough to handle any job.
Konica, the copiers that are tough enough.
All the finals now here at the Konica Winternationals. The first of them is Ipswich Telephone Services Super Gas Eliminator. David Goldie in the Pacific Performance Monaro from Brisbane to take on Colin Griffin all the way from Melbourne in the high energy oil pans Celica.
So the gold Christmas trees, the trophies that everyone's chasing here at the Konica Winternationals. The first to be decided right now on the track. Colin Griffin, David Goldie, both had big field to take care of over this weekend, but this is it, the final.
Colin Griffin already with enough points in the bag to become the Australian champion. He would like to add the Konica Winternationals trophy in Ipswich Telephone Services Super Gas, but Goldie will do it. 986, 210 kilometres an hour.
For Ipswich Telephone Service, David Goldie, you've done it for the Queenslanders. You've won Super Gas.
I can't believe it. This is fantastic for us. We had a good qualifying. We qualified number one, and I can't believe we pulled it through right to the end. We were probably the only Queensland car for the last couple of rounds, so it was excellent. I didn't think we'd make it.
And Junior Dragster time now, brought to you by Performance Wholesale and Lunati.
Two Victorians in the final, Brendan Maggs in the Pennzoil Dragster up against Kelly Betts in the Rocket Industries car. Now there's a story in itself. There's Scotty Betts. He's standing behind his sister. He's won this event 3 times. He's turned 17. He's not eligible anymore. And already Kelly Betts is punching the air in that car. She's won it. Brendan Maggs with a red light. Kelly Betts will drive it through to half track. These are juniors for kids just 16, and she gets the win.
Yeah, what a success story it is there for Kelly Betts. 10:32, certainly an ecstatic family there.
Performance Wholesale Lenardi Junior Dragster. Kelly Betts, you've done it. You've won the Winternationals.
Yeah. Wow, that's very good. Yeah, I'd like to thank Rocket Industries, Shell, Autometer, No Fear, Revolution Race Gear, Yellow Terror, Crew Cams, Konica. Yeah, and Mum and Dad, and this one's for my brother.
Thanks, Kelly.
That's okay.
As the finals continue to come, Pipe Masters motorcycle exhaust final now of modified bike.
Dale Mason on the Suzuki, a relative newcomer to modified bike, but really enjoying his racing, up against Marty Searle, who's been on the scene for quite some time and had some very, very good results on that Yamaha.
So the Yamaha up against the Suzuki. Watch the lights, they tumble down. Green, yes, both greens. Oh, hard to pick this one out.
This will be close. Mason looking over, Searle right with him. Mason's got it. 988, 206 kilometres an hour.
Pipe Masters Motorcycle Exhaust Modified Bike Eliminator, a tough field. The Winternationals winner, Dale Mason, you've done it.
Yeah, thanks very much. I'd just like to thank my wife Scylla, my crew, Wayne Clinton, Pete Batley for all the help on the bike, and Willowbank Raceway. Thanks very much.
Final now, Super Street, brought to you by Superformance.
Gavin Hamilton up against Ross Munster, two local Queensland races, and this is for the championship. Whoever wins this race also takes out the Australian title in Super Street Eliminator. It's for sedans running between 11 seconds and 12.99. Away goes Ross Munster, Gavin Hamilton to try and chase him down.
Ross Munster's pedalling pretty hard. Here comes Hamilton in the Tirana. Munster, the Tirana. Gavin Hamilton, 11.13, 194.
Superformance Super Street winner. You won it last year. Again, National Super Street champion, Gavin Hamilton.
Yeah, it was a hard run. Ross is always a pretty hard competitor, but once again it was a good weekend all round. The track was beautiful and it was a good weekend.
Now it's time for Craig R Performance Super Sedan Eliminator Final, and we have got a good one here. Juan Kudnig, the man that owns Super Street for years, now moved into Super Sedan with a CCR Commodore, up against Kevin Bradley in the Permacolor Datsun 180B. This car has plenty of history. Let's see whether it can take out another Konica Winternationals. They come out together. There's not much of a handicap in this one, but it looks like Juan Kudnik's going to drive away with it.
Yeah, Juan Kudnik, through he goes, takes the win, runs a 989 at 197 kilometres an hour.
Well, this just tops off a great year for Jan Kudnik, winner of the Winternationals, National Super Sedan Champion. Congratulations.
Yes, it's been a fantastic year. This particular event has been long and grueling. I'd like to thank my sponsors, my crew, and the organisers at Willowbank. It's been fantastic. I've also managed to win the Super Sedan National #1, and that's a great thrill. Thank you very much.
Why don't you give us a smile, Jan?
Okay.
That's great.
Final now of Kenlow Race Cars, a modified eliminator, and David Mullins in one of those Kenlow Race Car Dragsters. He's into the final, up against Sydney's Alan White in the Arnox Industries T-Bucket. Alan White, a former Australian champion and modified eliminator, now likes to race here at Willowbank. Not much happening for him at Eastern Creek Raceway at the moment. Would very much like to add a gold Christmas tree to his mantelpiece, but Mullins is a pretty tough customer in this dragster.
So the dragster taking on the Altered. Yeah, clean green lights. The Alted's out there in front. The Altered, the dragster running up beside him. We'll wait and see how they cross the line. The Altered, Alan White, 9 seconds, 2:23.
That's it.
We've got it right.
Hang on, man. Shove your ball patch.
One very happy winner here for Kenlow Race Cars Modified Eliminator. Alan White, you've done it.
Oh man, coming up here for the last 3 years, first round lose, come out here, bingo, 11 years was the last time I won at this track, and I've gone and done it. Thanks Kenlow for putting on a bracket, and I want to thank my wife and kids, because mate, I can't do it without them.
Final time now of Comp Bike Eliminator, brought to us by Morgan & Wacker, the Queensland Harley-Davidson distributors, and it is a battle between Western Australia with Mick Sargent. And interestingly, his crew are already wearing T-shirts that say Australia #1. So they had them printed up, they were ready. He's got enough points, he's got the title, he's won the TAC Nationals, but can Queensland's Daniel Peaty stop him from taking the clean sweep?
So Queensland against Western Australia, Morgan and Wacker. Sponsoring the bracket here tonight at the Konica Winternationals.
Suzuki versus Kawasaki. The Kawasaki is out in front. Daniel Peaty trying to chase him down. Mick Sargent looks over his shoulder and says, "Catch me if you can." Look at the crew. They know it. They are happy. He's got the clean sweep for the year.
Morgan and Wacker comp bike winner, the Winter Nationals. Mick Sargent, you won the Nationals earlier on this year. This makes it number 2.
Oh, what a year, what a year. We really sort of struggled at the Nationals and we did it the hard way. Came second last on the qualifying list and to come back with a win. Today, completely different. We went home, we went right over the bike and came out with a 54 first day and we said, well, the thing holds together, we are going to kick some ass tonight. And she did. Mind you, we got a few spare parts, broken things back in the pit area at the moment, but she held together. That's the main thing.
Plain Cam Super Stock final here at the Konica Winternationals, and it's Ian Johns in the Falcon taking on Graham Walker in the Commodore.
Western Australia versus New South Wales, the Konica Winternationals winding down with all of the big finals, and this should be a fairly good race. I think the A gasser of Ian Johns, around 500 cubic inches of Oldsmobile engine. Graham Walker with a smaller small block Chevrolet. He'll get the handicap start. Watch for that Falcon. It has been showing some big top speed. Just been carrying him through at the end, but it doesn't have to this time. Walker's red lighted. Ian Johns will get the win. Looks like he's going to drive it through anyway. Walker's fast, but Johns is the winner.
Boy, these Western Australians love Willowbank Raceway. Winner of Super Stock, of course, brought to us by Crane Cams, Ian Johns.
I'm speechless. It's absolutely one of the wildest, most best moments of my life in drag racing. It is absolutely magnificent.
That's a big rap for yourself there, Johnsy. Live it up.
Oh, I know. This is something that I've been working for ages and ages, and we've worked our tail off this weekend. And you know, the credit goes to my crew, and what they've done for me over this weekend is absolutely fantastic. Thanks very much to Willowbank.
So the final coming up now, Crower Competition Eliminator Final, and 2 Queenslanders this time. Greg Lay from down on the Gold Coast taking on from, I think up on the Darling Downs John Sting.
I think even St George way for John Sting, but 2 Queenslanders nonetheless. We've seen the Western Australians having a pretty good run here. Greg Lay out in front. John Sting's got a problem. The Dragster's going nowhere. Greg Lay, the top qualifier, will take it out 7:56, 280 kilometres an hour.
The Winter Nationals winner for Crower Competition, Greg Lay, 7:56 in the final.
You're kidding. A 7:56. Well, I knew that guy had a mile an hour on me. So I just thought, well, I've got to drive this car all the way through, and we knew it had a 50 in it. What mile per hour was it, do you know?
I haven't quite got that here, but I'm sure you'll find out when your crew arrives here in a few moments screaming.
I've just got to thank my wife first off. She's put up with an awful lot from me over the last 2 weeks, as I'm sure everyone can imagine.
Really humble there from Greg Lay. Now the final of Wreckers Hotline. Top comp eliminator Tom Coonan in the Holtz Crane Hire Ford LTD. And of course Russell Schaefer in the Clounder Wreckers Dragster. And we've said it a few times tonight already, Paul, but this is what it's about. It's about the mix and match in Wreckers Hotline Top Comp, handicap racing at its best.
Yeah, good display of that. This is the Ford LTD. A look inside it there, and Tom Coonan at the wheel, really concentrating there as the crew guided him back. Russell Schaefer in the Clounder Wreckers Dragster. He's preparing to move in there. The lights coming on there on the top of the tree.
Yeah, Russell Schaefer very early into stage again, into what we call deep stage. He's gone far enough for his front wheel to move out of the pre-stage beam. Green light for Tom Coonan and a good reaction time. Russell Schaefer has got a job to do and he won't do it. Tommy Coonan, 7:72, wins the Konica Winternationals.
I knew I had the light on him. It was a tough run. We waited till late in the night. I was a bit worried about how the track would be because the run before the car ran a little bit off and I didn't know whether that was track conditions or what. And then it got a bit loose that run. I thought, I don't know where I'm going to be here, so we just drive it till the end and see what happens. It's great to win it. It means a lot because a dear friend of ours and fellow racer in Top Comp passed away earlier in the week, and this is for you, Bob. Thanks very much.
Konica puts the future of copying in your hands. By combining advanced computer technology, unique twin beam laser printing, and hard-wearing components, Konica delivers copiers that are tough enough to handle any job. Look for the copier that satisfies your needs in the Konica range.
Konica, for copiers that are tough enough.
On Wreckers Hotline Drag Racing 98, we're now down to the serious part of the event. The finals. The first one up is Serco Pro Stock Motorcycle. Paul, we started with a lot, but we've only got a few left.
Yes, over 500 competitors here, down to the last 12. Serco Pro Bike about to happen, and out there on the line, of course, Les Donand taking on Dennis Ackland.
This is a repeat of the final of the third round of the Castrol New Year Series earlier in the year. Ackland came out on top that time. Donnan, he's got the championship already wrapped up. Can he add the Winter Nationals to it? Yes, he can. It's a red light. And, well, Dennis Ackland won't be too happy with himself on that one.
So through goes Donnan, 774.
Trevor, another win for you to cap off your championship.
Yeah, it was really good to tie up the championship before when we got here, but it's even better to win the meeting, and it was such a great meeting, and thank you to Willowbank Raceway.
Fairly laconic Trevor Burrell there, but he'll grab the trophy and take it home to Adelaide. Now, will the Piranha Insurance Brokers trophy go to Melbourne, Victoria with Bill Curry, or is it also going to Adelaide, but with Mark Getty of the Excessive Force Harley-Davidson team?
So it's Bill Curry for Pennzoil, about to move this magnificent race bike in, taking on Mark Getty for Excessive Force. The final Piranha Insurance Services top bike.
These things really are awesome. You'd never get me sitting on one, that's for sure. These are amongst the bravest men in motorsport for my money. Top Fuel Motorcycles, Getty into the centre line, Curry, and it's quick, 722, 312 kilometres an hour. That's 195 mile an hour. The Pennzoil boys will be partying tonight, I think, but have a look at this on the replay. Getty had a lot of trouble.
Yeah, Getty going pretty close there, catches one of the reflectors in the centre of the track.
Bill Curry, the Pennzoil top bike, getting through, of course, to the final and taking it for the Winter Nationals. Piranha Insurance Brokers, 722 at 195.
Woo! That's fantastic. We knew it had the speed. I figured Mark was going to be real tough to beat, so I was looking for the big number. 195 is real nice.
So Travellier Tours top alcohol final coming up now. Paul Shackleton, KB Dragster, taking on Gary Phillips for Lucas Oils.
Now, how many more dramas can we have in Travel Air Tours top alcohol? We've had David Glenwright into the fence. We've had David Hawke into the fence. Let's hope we just get a nice, clean, hard final here as the two dragsters will go head-to-head. Gary Phillips up against Paul Shackleton. Now, Phillips provided a lot of the advice for Shackleton when he first moved into top alcohol, sold him a lot of parts, superchargers, etc. And now, Shackleton has stepped up to the big time, will be taking on the man that has won 5 out of 7 Australian top alcohol championships.
You know, we've been talking about the dramas here this weekend. It really is indicative of how hard everyone's trying here at the Konica Winternationals. And so much excitement continues to happen here. Travel Air Tours now top alcohol final. Gary Phillips is pre-stage, waiting now. Paul Shackleton in beside him. Final about to happen. Lights go to green. Gary Phillips is out in front. Gary Phillips is holding it. Gary Phillips is the winner. 5.99, 377 kilometres an hour.
Not the quickest top alcohol final we've seen, but the Lucas Oils team, they'll be very happy anyway. Have a look at it on the Wreckers Hotline replay. Phillips came out a little bit of shake again. Shackleton, I think, was just intent on getting that car down the lane. and misfiring a little bit, a bit of unburnt fuel out of the pipes, and Phillips wins it.
Gary Phillips, winner of the Winternationals for Travel Air Tours, a $5.99 in the final, but that's another Winternationals.
Yeah, we'll put that one on the list too for Lucas Oils, and yeah, that was the track's really cold and it's hard to race at night with as fast as these things are. So yeah, we backed it down a little bit.
Had a bit of a thrash there in the semi-final. After the semi-final, a rear end problem.
Yeah, broke the rear end from shaking the tyres and stuff. So we got a really good crew and everyone pitched in, and we even had time for a Coke.
Well, the next final coming up now, and this is John William Auto Sales Pro Stock. What a competitive field this has been. Down to Joe Polito to take on Peter Ridgway.
Well, here at the Konica Winternationals, the Australian Pro Stock Championship has come down to the final race. The race is between Ridgway and Polito. The championship is between Tucker and Polito. The way the scenario works, if Polito wins the race, he wins the championship. If he's runner-up, he can still win the championship if he gets the bonus points for either low elapsed time in the meeting or high speed. Now, I know that Rob Tucker will be hoping that Peter Ridgway can put that VPW car through the lights first, and in a quick time they come out hard. Polito with a 4:01 reaction time. That's lightning. Ridgway 774, 277, and he's got the points. Have a look at it on the replay. Lightning reactions from Joe Polito. He did the driving job. Ridgway with just a little bit too much horsepower, I think. The Victorian, the VPW car, he gets the win and hands the championship to Tucker.
The big fella, Peter Ridgway, steps out of the car. For John Williams Auto Sales, you've won Pro Stock Eliminator in the final, a 774.
Well, that's good. We were hoping we could pinch the national record off Joe, but we've pinched the race, so that'll do for today.
And I'm pretty sure Robbie Tucker would be a great fan of you after that final run.
Well, look, you know, I was really trying for Rob. He's put a lot on the line to win the championship. Joe's had his turn, and I was glad that I could help him.
Wow, pretty happy Peter Ridgway there. Down to the final now. Our top door slammers brought to you by Suit Performance this weekend. Andrew Searle, the Acme Fiberglass Custom Line, taking on the Valvoline Chevy of Peter Gratz.
Well, this is very similar to the final of Top Door Slam at the Konica Winternationals last year. We had an underdog there in the form of Les Winter. This time the underdog, you'd have to say, is Andrew Searle in the Acme Fiberglass car. And they're up against Peter Gratz, who is this big meeting specialist in the Valvoline Chevy. Oh no, Searle's car shut down. They're pushing him back, some sort of leak. It looks like Gratz got this one on a solo.
Yeah, Peter Gratz going to go through on his own, but knowing Peter Gratz for the fans, he'll really put on a big show. Watch this now, the Valvoline Chevy, Peter Gratz, the final tonight. Suit Performance for Top Door Slammer. And whoa, problems again, would you believe it?
Second last run of the night, and that car's thrown the entire rear end out of it. The wheels, the diff, the wheelie bars, the drive shaft, the crew can't believe it. They've taken off in an Olympic 100-metre sprint. Have a look at the rear of that Valvoline car. It is just torn to pieces. I've never seen anything like this. Have a look on the Wreckers Hotline replay. The car shakes. There's the rear end coming out. Rear wheels, parachutes, wheelie bars, it's all gone. And Peter Gratz is the Top Door Slammer champion with no wheels.
Goodness me, what a sight. I just can't believe it. I'm not laughing, really.
I've never seen anything like this on a drag strip. The shake out of there, have a look from rear, and it just literally pitches the differential out of that car. Gratz across into the wall. Wouldn't have been that hard an impact. I think he'd just be in shock about what's going on. There's Peter Gratz. He wins Suit Performance Top Door Slammer, but hey, I think we'll need the tilt tray to get rid of that one.
Oh, absolutely. The crowd out here going wild. Oh, gee whiz, it's all happening. We're in now to the High-Tech Oils Top Fuel Final. Robin Kirby, the Pennzoil Dragster, taking on Glenn Micris for Santo Rapisada.
Well, Micris has been trying to run 300 mile an hour all weekend to claim the Santos Cranes $20,000 bonus. I got an idea about now they will have toned it down a little bit and said, let's win this race. He's won the championship, his second Australian championship in a row, so Santo Raposado, I know, will very proudly put that one up on the mantelpiece with the other gold Christmas trees that he has there. Robin Kirby, he's been the real journeyman of Top Fuel racing. He's missed, I think, one Top Fuel round in about the last 12 years. Here he is in a final. This is his first opportunity to win a gold Christmas tree in Top Fuel Eliminator. And if he makes it, I know it'll be a popular win. Glenn Micros, though, you've got to say, the Santos Cranes car, it's got the muscle.
Yeah, it certainly has, and that $20,000 bonus, of course, 300 mile an hour, is still up for grabs. But I think the prestige, Rob, of winning a gold Christmas tree is what it's about. Santo's car's going well, but he's in problems. It's going to be Kirby. Kirby for Pennzoil takes the win. 6:58, 3:20, a big winner tonight. Robin Kirby takes out Hi-Tech Oil's Top Fuel Eliminator.
The Konica Winternationals has had it all. Now, Micros leapt off the start line. He had that shot to bits and something broke. Something broke in the car. We saw the sparks and everything out of there. I'd say in the drive line probably. Kirby's car was struggling. It's misfiring. It's all over the place, but it's a winner.
Robin Kirby, winner of Top Fuel Eliminator, your first Andrew Christmas tree. Hi-Tech Oils Top Fuel here at the Winternationals. Mate, for somebody that deserves it, it's you.
Well, we had a bit of a team meeting this morning at the motel. I said that we had 3 challenges for the day. We had about 15 or 20 people from Pennzoil in our hospitality tent that we had to look after for the day. And we had to retain our 3rd position on the points, and we had to win. In the end, we wanted that gold Christmas tree, right or wrong. And I was a little bit reluctant to give the car the full pedal off the start line because it didn't sound too good when we started in the pits. But something happened to my cruise, and I just cruised on down. And
you had to change short motors in between rounds
we
too.
did change short motors. The motor we've got in the car now, we've never run that before. It's a brand new short motor, and we didn't know what it was going to do. And I wasn't prepared to give it the full bootful just in case we turned it to scrap. But luckily, Glenn had a problem in his lane, and it was as easy as that.
Robin Kirby, Top Fuel, mission accomplished.
Thanks very much.
Plenty of celebrations down there in the braking area from the Pennzoil Keatings Transport team of Robin Kirby, and justifiably so. What an outstanding Konica Winternationals we've seen. Record crowd, 36,000 people into Willowbank Raceway. The fireworks go up. An unbelievable event made possible with the help of Nestle and, of course, Konica.